Welcome to The Source with your host, Dr. C.T. Curry, and co-host Coby Owens. News all across the nation. The Source. Stay in the loop in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Work together for change in the community. A call to action to find the resources. The Source, the latest in news.
Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Coby Owens.
And welcome to The Source. Coby, you're back off your mission trip. Last week, we did not have a show as it relates to the traditional because you were out of town. Where did you say you were?
So I was up in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
And I was actually meeting with FEMA about some emergency management planning along the East Coast, and some additional funding that's going to be opened up, not only for municipalities, but for nonprofits as well, too, just to make sure that the community is preparing itself for the changing climate that we're dealing with.
And we're dealing with some serious climate changing things going on. I mean, some of these storms now is just unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So anything good come out of it as of right now?
I think, one of the things, you look at the two storms we just had down in Florida, and the South got hit pretty hard, and they talked about key centers and hospitals who were able to, it's called hardening their defenses against the elements. So different technologies, these new barriers that they're using for flood resistance, something that we could have used here if we would have known about Ida a few years ago, that would have protected the community, and better preparing for that. But then also looking at some of the patterns over the next and predictions that they have over the next 5 to 10 years of where flood levels are going to be and where standing water is going to be as well, too. Oh, wow. Just our rising waterways. So again, I know there's a lot of development going on in the downtown area, on our riverfront area. Yeah. A lot of that area is going to be affected. But then also you look at our traditional areas where floods happen,
like
Southbridge, Northeast Boulevard, Governor Prince, areas like that in those neighborhoods that don't have as much access to either flood insurance, right? How can we better help them prepare for impending weather and natural disasters that will be coming our way?
Well, that's good that you are getting information, and even though you're not officially city council, it's like this is what you do. Yeah. And that's why when it disheartens all of our wonderful viewers when you're not able to be here, but we know that you're always on a mission trying to help.
Yeah, I had planned to be back here in time, but a few of the directors had got called the day before, got called back down to Florida. Then they flew back up to New York. And I don't know how they do their jobs. They're always on planes and everything, but they're prepared for that. But again, they came back and we had to have the finish up the meeting the next day. Yeah. But again, it was a great opportunity. I look forward to learning more, not only from FEMA, but from different agencies, right? And again, just seeing how much money is out there that we as a city have not gone for, that is tailored made for cities our size, right? From that 50,000 to 75,000 population, we fall right in there at 72,000 individuals. Right. So again, we should be going after this money. It's no cost to the actual taxpayers here. We don't have to raise their taxes, and we help protect their houses.
Well, I hope you keep up that good work, because what you're doing is you're making sure that we are always represented everywhere and getting the latest information as opposed to waiting until the end. This week in our local news, we did have a shooting just on Wednesday off on, I think, around 22nd and Spruce. Are you aware of anything with that?
I am. I'm aware of, there was very little information given out. There was a shooting around 10:30 on Wednesday, October 23rd. 22nd and Spruce, right by the Prices Run area. Okay. The victim was a 30-year-old man who was listed in critical condition. And outside of that, no additional information has been put out by the Wilmington Police Department.
Yeah, and that's, now you said there's 22nd and Spruce. I'm just trying, that's up towards, you said Price's Corner?
Yes.
Which Price's Corner?
Price's. Price is Run. Sorry.
Because I'm thinking about. So I'm like, that's
Price is
Kirkwood
Run.
Highway.
Sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the 3rd district over there.
Okay, and who's the city council person for that?
Xanthia Oliver.
Miss Oliver. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't see any more information on that. But for those of you who are watching us, we just wanted you to know that around 22nd of Spruce in the morning at 10:30 a.m. A 30-year-old individual was shot and listed still in critical. We don't know what the outcome is, and we can't call a hospital because they won't give us that kind of information. But we do hope and trust that the Wilmington Police Department will put more information out. Another thing that was really interesting, and I know that this would be something you would be interested in, what's going on with City Council now? I'm not opposed to the delays, but I'm just trying to understand what's going on with this whole notion of allowing the marijuana sale to proceed.
Yeah, so again, this is one of the issues I've had with council over the years, is they don't pay attention to legislation and how it impacts the city. And they're supposed to be the legislative body. HB1 and HB2 passed back in April of 2023. Municipalities started making plans and whether it was going to allow the sale or ban the sale or put buffers in certain areas in 2023, with most of them making decisions by August or September of 23. Wilmington has waited through an entire election and now a lame duck council that has 3 members who will not be there anymore starting the next session, a mayor that will not be there starting the next session, are trying to ram through this legislation because they're up against the wall now. And the original proposal had a 100-foot buffer zone,
right,
from residential districts, from schools, and a 1-mile gap between facilities, like-minded facilities. So retail and retail, cultivation and cultivation. That was amended at the zoning meeting. And then that was amended to 300 feet and then sent to council. The chair of community development and urban planning, Maria Cabrera, is a sponsor. And when she introduced it for first and second reading, she sent it back to the planning zoning committee because the mayor's administration was not happy with the 300-foot buffer. They were not happy not because community centers, educational leaders and schools had said, hey, this is better than the 100-foot. No, they were upset because this would pit all this business. It would only be allowed in the riverfront or downtown area, right? The commercial area, commercial district, retail district of the city of Wilmington. And it upset their main person, their main people, Bacini Pollen. And Bacini didn't want it, so it had to change. So Maria sent it back to the committee. The mayor's chief of staff, who sits on the zoning committee, made the amendment to change it back to 100 feet neighborhood buffers, change special provisions for C2 and C2A zoning areas, and change the gap from 1,200 feet to 2,600 feet. The issue with this is, after dozens of community members, dozens of community leaders came out and spoke in opposition of this, these council members, the zoning committee, in an overwhelming vote, 4-2, passed this new resolution. And then there was a committee meeting on Wednesday. Now, mind you, people are fired up, people are coming out, and Councilwoman Maria Cabrera, with seeing all the people who took time out, changed their schedules to be at this meeting, especially after the meeting before that was a specially scheduled meeting, was not on the regular agenda. They were there, now they were at this next meeting. She decided to wait until the moment to hold the legislation, knowing she probably wanted to do that earlier in the day. So again, this is the issue a lot of people have with this council, that they're self-absorbed and that they only focus on themselves. and not about what the community wants. If one developer is saying they don't want it versus dozens and dozens of residents saying they want it a different way, I'm going to listen to the residents.
Yeah.
But because the developer cuts their checks and gives family members jobs, they have done what the developer wanted. And again, it pits these dispensaries and retail spaces could go next to community centers, can go next to daycares and things like this. And you know me, you know I am a advocate for legalization of marijuana and for the sale of it. I think it's good, but this council is thinking very narrow-minded with this. I think we should put it in our commercial area, you know, where all the downtown development district money goes. Let's develop downtown. Let's put the businesses down there. That's where you're pushing every other business at right now. So why not push this one there? And then on top of that, go to the General Assembly and say, General Assembly, we're allowing one or two of these facilities to be here in the city of Wilmington. Can we put an additional 2% sales tax on it so that we can have a new revenue stream here in the city of Wilmington and put that towards housing, put that towards addressing climate change, put that towards addressing health inequities here in the city of Wilmington? That creates a new revenue stream, but this council doesn't want to do that. Yeah,
and you know, it's really interesting that you're sharing this. Now, I'm into the mechanics. Before this session, before this council, in the old rules under the under the council president, was he or she responsible for putting on the floor what goes on the floor?
Yes.
Now that doesn't happen.
Correct. So the old rules had that the council president not only controlled the agenda, the council president also controlled who was committee chairs and who was on which committee. So again, they would pick who was actually going to chair this committee. Now, Maria wasn't the original pick to chair this committee. That was Rashima Dixon, who may she rest in peace. But Maria was a part of the group of 7 that changed the rules, and she got this chair, and she's been able to push things through for Bacini, like the Blake bill. So again, this is why rules are so important.
Yeah, well, and why leadership is so important, because now it's like a council that's going haywire. They're doing what they want to do. No one holds anybody accountable. And even when you want to put a resolution on the floor to sanction somebody or censure someone, then it end up being no, it ain't going to happen and things of that nature. I am very concerned that a person would not listen to a community of people. And then when an individual decides, oh no, this is not going to go in my district, or not district, but in my area that I'm making my money, then they listen. And she won her election, and it's all right, because payday is always coming for everyone, and I hope that we will continue to expose this. And one of the good things I love about you, Coby, is that you're not here to do your special interest as it relates to, well, if it ain't my way, I'm gonna fuss, I'm gonna cry, and I'm gonna complain. But it's about laying out the case. I'm always going to ask the questions, you know, because I felt if we had a city council president who can better control. Now, sometimes they're corrupt too, but in this case, you're holding a person accountable. That 7 group, that group who did what they did, I think she's the only one left. Who's?
So the members who were a part of that was Loretta Walsh, who's no longer there. You had James Spadola, Nathan Fields, Maria Cabrera, Chris Johnson, Xanthia Oliver.
Okay, so I only heard 3 that's still here.
I'm missing someone. Brigida Fields. Wow. Brigida Fields. And then Hanifa, as the outgoing council president, she's the one who put the resolution on the agenda. She put both sets of rules, both sets of committee lists on the agenda.
So the question is, how many of them are still around? I know I heard 2 people who have gone, who are not, but maybe Phil's still there?
No, she lost. She lost to Christian Willhauer.
That's what I thought you were saying.
And Loretta Walsh is no longer there.
Okay. So what we got to do is just watch what we're doing and watching this, because this is just a little bit too much, especially when the community is. I am against the marijuana use because of all the effects. but I understood why people wanted it legalized because of the criminalization part of it. Is why I stepped back and allowed it to me not to go so haywire about it. I mean, I found too many people who were criminalized over a marijuana, one as they used to call it in my hood, joint, as opposed to somebody who is doing some much bigger stuff than the people who are pushing it. So I understood all of that. But what I don't understand is how the community is crying and saying, we don't want this at this place or we don't want that at this place, and no one is listening. But when Puccini says, nah, we're going to do it this way, he has an advocate in city council to be able to make sure he gets his agenda. And I hope that we pay close attention to that. And I hope if you all vote to give the city council president, in this case, it would be Trippy, the power that he will be very strategic in how he handles that so that people won't have a free reign and continue to oppress the poor and the forgotten about. One last thing, we only got a couple seconds left in this last segment, but I do want to, because it's important about defamation, and a lot of people don't understand what the effects of defamation, especially people who like to run their mouth and say things out of their mouths. And some people don't go and get a lawyer. I'm one who will start doing that because I find that it'll start setting an example. What these two African American young ladies, one was a mother, one was the daughter, about that case with Rudy Giuliani, man, $145 million. He got to give up the apartment. He got to give up a lot of stuff.
He has to give up his New York City apartment to them.
Yeah.
He has to give up over a dozen luxury watches, his 1980 Mercedes that was formerly owned by Lauren Bacall. He has to give over to them. Why? Because he doesn't have the actual hard cash to give them in this defamation judgment that the judge ruled. Again, your words have consequences sometimes. So again, Rudy Giuliani and Trump, both of them who were law and order people. Giuliani it has been disbarred, right? He was the tough on crime, stop and frisk man, and just as corrupt as some of the people that he liked to think in his mind. And it seems to be a common practice with the New York mayors. Oh, the people who are really bad, we got to crack down with the police department. But really, it was them who were corrupt the whole time. Eric Adams. So again,
well, Trump and him are cool now because he went against Biden. They say now Biden sicked all the people on him. But you're absolutely correct. I like the way you shared that.
So again, this is, I'm glad they won this lawsuit. And I hope this teaches people lessons that you cannot just spew hate and lies and not face the consequences.
Yeah, and what's really sad is that Trump gets away with this stuff, and all these people were defending his lie. And now they're all losing millions and millions of dollars, and he's still chilling and getting everybody else pay for everything. He is such a kind person. And don't hate. As they say, don't hate on them. Listen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back with Coby Owens. We'll be right back. Hey, this is Pastor Curry, pastor of the Ezion Fair Baptist Church, Wilmington's most exciting church, the church that love ya, and anything you can do about it. What we're going to do today is we're going to have a real good conversation. I'm excited. Come on! Every Sunday at 11 a.m. Why don't you call somebody real quickly? Tell them Coffee with Curry is on. And let's get after it.
Hello, my name is Coby Owens, and I'm running for the Democratic nomination for the City Council 1st District right here in Wilmington. I am running on a platform of addressing our affordable housing crisis, making sure we're helping both homeowners and renters both live in this city, live in safe and affordable housing. I'm running on a platform to address affordable housing, but also looking at quality of life issues, making sure that our street signs are up, our streets are fit, our sidewalks aren't cracked, and making sure our communities are safer for everyone. And lastly, I am running on a sustainable development and economic growth platform, one that makes sure we're investing into our neighborhoods, and our best investment that we can make is investing into our youth, making sure that we are preparing them for our future. And then lastly, expanding senior programming to make sure that they continue to age in place right here in the 1st District, in the city of Wilmington. I'm doing this for y'all. Vote for Coby Owens.
And we're back. Brother Coby, what's going on with the Coby Corner?
Yeah, first, I want to take a moment to say that I'm praying for 4 firefighters here in the city of Wilmington who were injured earlier this week in a residential fire on the 100 block of South Colonial Ave. They are doing well. But again, it almost reminds me of about 8 years ago, 2016, around this time, actually, when we lost, it was September, but when we lost 3 firefighters, Jerry Fickus, Artie Hope, and Chris Leach. But again, I'm glad they're okay, but they are recovering right now. They're Wilmington Fire Department members, and they were burns on their arms and on their bodies, their hands, so again, I'm glad they're okay, and hope that they have a speedy recovery. Again, this is going to now create an investigation on, what caused the fire and everything like that. So, I wanted to start my corner with saying that I'm praying for them and hope that they have a speedy recovery.
Yes.
But the next thing I want to talk about is something that it has been almost 3 years of advocating for, fighting back for, and this administration has used no contact orders against homeless people so that they wouldn't. They have tried to pit forth soliciting statutes that say you can't panhandle and things like that. They have attacked individuals who are unhoused. They have arrested protesters for trying to peacefully walk up Market Street. And again, this administration has cost the city a lot of money, has cost the state a lot of money, but the ACLU, on behalf of Food Not Bombs, Consortium of Care, Friendship House, and the NAACP, filed a lawsuit. And then the lawsuit was not only to bring awareness to poverty and homelessness here in the city of Wilmington, but also saying that, some of these rules and ordinances that have passed and laws that have passed infringe upon the First Amendment rights. And the lawsuit argued that law enforcement disproportionately target the unhoused in communities of color. Anyone who's walked up and down Market Street has seen that there's multiple layers of law enforcement, police, paramilitary, as I call them. You have Wilmington Police, you have Downtown Visions, and then you have the paramilitary troopers from Bikini Pollen. And again, they have targeted young African-American people. I remember I got into it one time with one of the black shirt Bikini Pollen people when I was trying to be super healthy and, go for jogs and everything. And I was in sweats and a hoodie. And they just thought I was, I guess, a bum as I was trying to go into a store. And they told me, oh, you can't go ask for money in there. Really? So again, there has been multiple issues like that. So again, Dwayne Benzing, who's the legal director of the ACLU, has worked very hard on this. The Attorney General, Kathy Jennings, has agreed to stop enforcing these statutes as well, too.
What does that mean, stop enforcing?
So from her side of things, if there's citations that are coming through, they will not prosecute. They will not execute no contact orders if an individual gets a no contact order from the city.
But that doesn't stop them from being harassed.
That doesn't, well, she can only handle the prosecution side of things. Okay. Now, because of this ruling, now we have to make sure the dissent decree that comes out is really targeting all the municipalities who've put stuff up. And it's not just Wilmington, it's the small towns downstate as well, too. So again, we still have a long way to go. And if you want to really solve the issue of homelessness and individuals who are facing a struggle right now, it's by creating more housing, right? And public housing, affordable housing, create a housing trust to allow people to get back on their feet. It is not by criminalizing them. And that's why it's so important to make sure you have individuals on local councils, in the General Assembly, who understand and who's focused on the community, not just what big developers are saying. And I know that's been a common theme of this show for me, because I am a little ticked off about how, again, even after this election, and after two of the biggest advocates for developers both lost their elections, this certain members on council is still doing exactly what developers say.
Yeah, well, they're going to always have their people there. We just don't want them to have 7. Because they can always have their people, but they just don't. And they're going to always have their people because they're going to keep buying people.
Yeah. And again, I'm not against development. I think development is good for the growth of any city, but you can do it without displacement. You can do it in an equitable way. You can do it in a way that is building up the current community as well, too. You cannot just always
And that's
look
the purpose of it.
to the outside. Yeah, exactly.
That's the purpose of it. Our community is a community, and when you come into our community, you're supposed to augment it, not take it away.
Yes.
That's called stealing.
Yes.
So I understand that, and I'm glad that you continue to reconfirm that you are not against building, but you are against people who are just bullying.
Correct. The next thing I want to talk about, this will probably be the last debate before the election, but this upcoming Wednesday, October 30th, we will be having a governor's debate. And in this debate, you will see both Democratic nominee Matt Myers and Republican nominee Mike Ramone face off and answer questions. This is hosted by the Metropolitan Wilmington Urban League, A. Philip Randolph, and a host of other Black-led organizations and nonprofits. We're doing this in a nonpartisan way to bring you the information for this upcoming election. But also, you still have a little time to let us know what questions do you want answered. Or you can show up here at Ezion Fair at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, October 30th, and ask the questions yourself. We will be having the note cards out there. And as you saw last time for the mayor's debate, we were able to get the cards up to the moderator. And we asked pretty much most of the questions until we ran out of time. We even pushed it a few extra minutes to ask even more questions. So please, please, please feel free to come out, ask your questions. And again, this is the last debate. I really want to make sure that we have a packed house. I want to make sure that the questions are being asked, and that whoever our next governor is focused on our community.
Yes.
There's a lot of needs left, whether it's education, housing, access to healthcare, affordable access to healthcare. So again, we have a lot of issues. It's not just criminal justice reform for the Black community, like some politicians like to say. We care about economic justice, right? We care about our bottom lines as well. So let's make sure the next governor knows that and it has a plan for it going in on day one.
That's good. Now let's make sure we get the facts right for our seniors.
Yes.
What day is the debate?
Wednesday, October 30th.
At what time?
6 p.m.
Where will this be?
Ezion Fair.
What is the address? 1400 B Street.
I know it.
Okay.
I know it.
And all roads lead to Ezion Fair.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask that, not so much to talk about Ezion Fair, but I really wanted to make sure that we said it clearly. It's going to be this coming Wednesday,
yes,
the 30th at 6 p.m.
Yes.
Here at Ezion Fair, 1400 B Street in Wilmington. And if a person cannot get here, we want everybody here so we can show the support. But if a person cannot get here, will it be streamed?
It will be live streamed, yes.
And now will it be streamed from your site, our site, whose site?
your site and we'll share it to our site. So no matter what Facebook page you're on, it will be streamed via Facebook. And then we'll download it and put it on.
So you can either
YouTube.
go to Urban League or to Ezion Fair's Facebook page and YouTube, and you will be able to see this debate live in living color. And we hope and trust that you all will do that, because at this point we've watched certain dynamics. Now, you know, we have the Republican gubernatorial person as well as the Democrat, and there has to be some movement with the Republican Party, because I've never really seen a Democratic governor who got the nomination campaign to the level that Matt Myers is still campaigning. So is there some competition going on for real there?
There is. I mean, again, I give people their credit where credit's due. Mike has always portrayed himself as a moderate, and portrayed himself as, you know, kind of yellow. But at the end of the day, he's still the minority leader of the Republicans. He leads the Republican caucus.
So all this mess that we see.
So, you know, you can present yourself as one way. I always encourage people to look at the facts. Look at the records. Look at how they voted on things, what they pushed for, how it impacted your families, right? So again, that's what I always encourage. But yes, it you know, again, across the board, there's a lot of dark money pouring into Delaware for the simple fact this is the home state of the President of the United States. We have a Black woman running for U.S. Senate. We have a member of the trans community running for U.S. House, right? Those are things that the Republican Party does not like. So a lot of money pouring in because of those races, because of the president. So of course it's trickling down to the other races as well too, and governors, the next one in line.
Which means everybody, you must vote. You must vote regardless. And I'm asking for those of you who watch us outside of the state of Delaware, especially Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, you really need to be voting, and voting strong, because you cannot take nothing for granted. One of the biggest problems with Hillary, and we get ready to go into our next segment, which is going to deal with nothing but the state of politics. But one of the problems I discovered with Hillary Clinton is that she felt she had already had the election in the bag. It was done, we won, and even neglected to go to Michigan to the level that she needed to. And this is just my assessment. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump won because he got a silent support. Oftentimes we don't pay attention. She needs to be now he got me saying her name wrong. Kamala really needs to continue to do what she's doing. And I saw her on the town hall with CNN, and I thought it was very good. She answered those questions very nicely, and she was very careful, because we're still dealing with this whole war going on, and it's creating some major problems for our party. But at the end of the day, we're going to be fine. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we really want to talk about the state of the politics, and so that you can know it's time now. We only got exactly about 2 weeks now, and really a week and a half, and then it's time to vote and select our next president of the United States, governor, as well as all the other officials. We'll be right back.
The world looks a whole lot different depending on where you stand.
Sure does.
From growing up in Wilmington to serving as a diplomat in a country devastated by war, starting 2 small businesses that created jobs, and teaching middle school math in neighborhoods that are too often overlooked and left behind. I'm Matt Meyer, and no matter where I stood, if something was broken, I've always tried to make it better. So when the insider said I had no shot against a 12-year incumbent, I ran for Newcastle County Executive anyway.
Gotta love an underdog.
Knocking on nearly 10,000 doors, because our county looks different depending on where you stand, too.
Hey, Mr. Meyer, in our classroom, you always made us show our work.
We put the county checkbook online in the first 6 months to show where your tax dollars are going. We are making our county cleaner and greener, investing in early childhood and mental health services. Started 1,000 kids coding to give low-income students high-income skills. And we created the Hope Center, helping thousands of people get off the streets and into homes. Now, as too many families struggle with the rising costs of housing and healthcare, too many communities go without clean air and clean water. And our schools rank 46th in the nation. I know we can do better, because we should be a state where every kid gets a great education, where every family has a safe neighborhood they can afford to call home. and every woman makes decisions about her own body.
You got that right.
I'm Matt Meyer, and I'm running for governor so that no matter where you stand, we can all see a brighter future.
Don't forget the website.
Join us live for our weekly worship. Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube.
Well, Pastor, I'm doing the best I can, but I still gotta have a little Chardonnay, and I still gotta have a little this, and I gotta still sneak around. The devil is a liar. That's an excuse.
Wilmington's most exciting church.
And we're back. This section is going to really be like the state of the politics, because we only got a couple more weeks left. And next week, we're going to really be talking, then the following week, we're going to be talking about results. And Coby, I want to start with the mayor's race. Now, it's interesting. First, let me just say this to you. My people said to me, Curry, stay out of the mayor's race this year. That, because I like to go ahead and jump all the way in whichever way I'm going to go. And they said, stay out of it because of all the negativity that this current mayor and how nasty he was and how evil spirited he was. Just stay out of it because you got to help the people of Wilmington. So I stayed out of it. I did not. I had a meeting with the mayor-elect, not on matters of the mayor's office, but on matters of being the governor.
Right.
And I was surprised. You said you believe his temperament is different. The way he treated us, he's already elect, so he didn't need my support at all. Right. I thought was really saying, is telling that maybe he's going to do the right thing and be about the right thing. And I want to make sure that I'm very fair. But when you said that, I said to myself, I didn't open my mouth. I'm not too sure about that. But he could have easily just denied my meeting. He could have easily acted like, you know what, I don't bother with that guy. But he was very receptive, and I thought at that point it's going to be important that we give people a chance. Mm-hmm. But I did hear some rumor, and I don't know if it's true. But if we can't say nothing, but if it is true, who he may be using as his or hiring as his chief of staff, that would be the best move he makes. Yeah,
I think again, nothing's been confirmed. Yeah, and I haven't spoke to the person about the position either. But if it's the name that I'm hearing as well too, I will be extremely happy. Because that person understands the city, understands the legislative body, the executive side of things, but then also has a big heart as well too. And I think
I like that.
Would push hard for the entire city to see some love from the mayor's office, something that we haven't seen in a while. So again, I if it is that person, I will be extremely happy.
And I have not, on purpose, I have not reached out to ask that question because I don't want nothing slipping. I don't want nothing. I don't want to put nobody in a compromising situation. But if this is true, and I know you out there saying, who y'all talking about? Don't worry about it. We will announce it after the new mayor announces it, because we don't want nothing to shift if it is true. But we're getting excited because it's important that we find a fair-minded person to be the second person in that office, given that we believe that the governor will, whether the new mayor may be as fair-minded as well. But we're gonna be careful with that. Let's talk about some other stuff real quick. How's city council coming along real quick?
Yeah, city council is coming along very nice. Okay. Right now people are trying to figure out what committees we're going to be on, going over the rules and everything.
Are they going to try to reinstitute the rules back?
So we have to see what everyone recommended. We could only see what we sent in.
Okay.
So hopefully there's enough people who sent something similar in saying, let's change it back, or here's what needs to be changed and everything. I will say I added one additional thing outside of changing the rules back, but I also added changing up some of the committees as well too, to just, again, better position us to actually plan for the future here in the city. So one was the Personnel Committee, changing that to a Labor and Workforce Committee to focus on growing our workforce so that we can better position ourselves to become a hub for whether it's new tech, right? Seeing what we need to do on a city side of things to better prepare the city for that. And adding environmental into the health, aging, and disabilities committee. That is going to be extremely important, especially over, these next 4 years, preparing us for natural disasters that are coming. And I did that before my meeting with FEMA, and I'm so glad because I came back from that meeting with FEMA. I was like, we need to do this, and this, and this as a city. I have like a 2-inch binder of potential policies that we can work on as a city our size with our power from that FEMA meeting alone. So and again, that's where we're at with those
and that's
rules.
one of the great things I enjoyed about supporting several of the candidates is because they're thinkers, and you all are thinkers. And I hope that it doesn't turn into a nightmare where people who've been a part of the old system where they just want to enrich people as opposed to really helping a community. And when we talk about community, we're not just talking about those who are in poverty, but we're sick and tired of seeing only those who have great means getting everything. So I'm very happy to hear that there's some conversation. But the only thing I'm still confused with, and I don't know if a person who's watching us could be a little confused with it too. So that means you'll have to send this information into who?
So it goes into our staff for right now.
Okay.
Trippy will review it, and then we'll have meetings and everything, and one-on-one meetings, and then group as we try to get orientation settled, figure out where we're doing the inauguration, and then we'll start deciding. Once he's able to present rules in committee roster and pro temp and things like that, then we'll all try to work together to get make sure everyone's voices are heard.
Well, we who are on the outside would love to hear whatever can be shared with us as it's moving forward, because I think it's January 20th is when everything goes into play.
No, that's for president. So January 7th.
Oh, the 7th.
Is us, yeah.
Okay.
So I definitely look forward to it. I'm excited. But again, as we go forward and everything, I'm going to keep people updated. I think transparency side of things is extremely important.
We talked a little bit about the governor's election and the debate will be at Ezion Fair on this coming Wednesday. Who's looking good in this governor's race?
So me personally, I think Matt will become the next governor.
Okay.
I think he will have enough votes in Newcastle alone to win, but I think he's going to make inroads in Kent County, and he's going to run pretty good in Sussex. He may not win Sussex, but he's gonna do pretty well in Sussex.
Yeah, because there was some Democrats leadership who was saying we need to get some Democrats to start to support the Republican candidate. And I was very disenfranchised. And then somebody heard us mention it on the air and called me and said they were too approached to support the Republican candidate. And I just say to all of you, we got to stop playing these dirty politics. That's a Trump move when you do things because you lose to now harm your party. If you're a true person of the party, then you need to keep moving like those Republicans. No, I shouldn't say like those because I'm being separatism, but like the Republicans are doing. We're going to stick with Trump because we're Republicans. But thank God for people like a Cheney. All right. So, but you still feel that he should be fine.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think he will win. I think Carl Evans Gay will win. Okay. As well as Sarah McBride and Lisa Blunt Rochester making history.
And all of them have people running against them too, right?
Yes, correct.
Because I've been noticing commercials. I really never paid attention to the lower commercials. And everybody got commercials on CNN right now. This is really interesting.
This is one of the most expensive election cycles ever, especially here in Delaware. All these candidates are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to get on the airways, to get media out there, and just to connect with voters any way possible.
Yeah. Do you think that the turnout is going to be strong?
I pray.
You pray?
I pray.
That's how, yeah.
Again, across the board, everyone's working to get out the vote here. I don't know if people have seen our Black Voter Matter billboards that have gone up across the state. We have, I believe, 11 up across the entire state. National Urban League is running ads here, just encouraging the Black vote to come out and vote. We're not saying who to vote for. Do your research though. But we are
and don't
saying
vote out of anger. Never make I tell our church all the time, never make a high decision at a low moment. Don't vote out of anger. I'm mad because the groceries are high. Well, if you think the billionaire Trump is going to make groceries lower, then you're crazy, because there's no way in the world he can care less. He was at McDonald's doing the fries, and can you imagine they had to put the security around him? There was nobody. Everything was staged. So we got to stop playing this game. And when I heard that black men, 25% of black men are supporting Trump, that bothered me, because that means there's an anger out there, and we do need to address the anger. Don't misunderstand that. But the response is not voting for a person who said lock him up and put him away. But we're going to go now. Let's just go ahead and start talking about the presidential. I was trying to give you a chance to get everything else out, but I do want to talk about this presidential election.
This is going to be a nail biter of a presidential election. I think that we will have multiple states that will not be decided for a few days, maybe. I say they may even call the race by Thursday, I'm hoping.
Now, stop there. That's his prediction. He's predicting that they will probably call the race for president of the United States on Thursday of that week. I'm predicting that night they're going to call it. Yeah. And I'm a solo person. None of the commentaries are going to agree with me. Everyone is in Coby's corner, saying it's going to take several days, and some have been going further than Thursday. So that's kind of aggressive Sunday, too, to even say Thursday. But I'm going to tell you why I really do believe. I believe Kamala's going to win this one, and I believe she's going to win it because it's going to be decisive. And I believe all of those swings. I think, was it 7 swing states?
7 main ones, yeah.
7 main ones. Of those 7, she's going to take 6 of them.
So those include Pennsylvania,
yes,
Nevada, Georgia, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, and North Carolina. Those are the main swing states. New Hampshire has kind of moved closer to the blue column right now. But I think when you look at some of the bigger states, Arizona they were just very slow last time counting their ballots. But Pennsylvania, it took them a few days to count everything.
I believe she's going to be called. I don't even control, but she's going to have more. So many electoral votes that, even though we want Pennsylvania very much, we really do, because we don't want to take that chance. And don't let my predictions mess anybody up. But I think it's going to be called before Pennsylvania even count their votes. So? Yeah, I do.
I don't know.
And that's how I'm predicting mine.
I think she definitely has to win Pennsylvania.
Okay.
But I think you're going to be a little shocked by the numbers coming out of Texas. I think we don't win Texas. I don't think Democrats win Texas this go round, but I think Texas is very close. Texas is going to be extremely close.
Win it.
I think we make inroads in other southern states. I think the next closest is probably going to be North Carolina.
We win it.
You think we win North Carolina?
And Texas.
Okay.
All this, I'm talking big, but now we're going to see when it all said. And when you got to give me a free dinner or something, you'll say, wow, this guy really got it together. I'm watching, and I see the negativity that Trump is putting out there. I see the people saying, because a gentleman was at BJ's and he had on his Trump 45 and 47 hat, and he said something to somebody about parking in a handicapped spot, and said to the woman, "Where's your handicapped sticker at?" And it was an older, elderly African American woman, and I said, "Sir, mind your business."
Right.
I said, if she had one. But whether she had one or not, mind your business. They are very bold and brash, and they want everybody to know that we are for this. Well, I'm just predicting with not a strong prognostication that I believe that she's going to take a lot of this, and you are going to be like, wow, we thought it was going to be close. It's not going to be close, because I don't think we need to have it so close that it can be caught up in courts for the next year.
That's true. But also there's a lot of people out there,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people who are buying into misinformation and disinformation that they are targeting. They are targeting black men. They keep hitting these polls out about black men not wanting to vote for her for a reason, right? You can do whatever with a poll. And as someone who's been involved with politics all my life, I understand when you do a poll, right, unless it's a true independent poll, if I'm a candidate commissioning a poll, of course, I'm going to be able to control the base of people we call. So when that 25% that they're saying is voting for the other side for Trump, look at the breakdown of how they're registered already. Look at the breakdown. You're not seeing a flip over. They just called more Republican black people, black men, than they did Democratic black men. That's how they do that, right? To make the numbers look worse so that they can get just 2% of black men be like, oh, well, if everyone else voted, all right, I'll go vote for them too. That's their plan. They only need 2%. That's why they're pushing so hard on this. And this is, again, shows the power that a black man has in this election. It will be up to us to stand with our sisters to deliver this election. But then also make sure that the Democrats are delivering for us as well.
And that's the key that I want to make sure that we grab when this is all over. I want to make sure that the voices of those who got the Latinos, matter of fact, Americans, period, because honestly, it's going to take all of us to make it happen. Now, some of the decisive pieces is going to be certain groups, but we really hope and trust that Kamala will be that president. And she talked about how he will be dealing with his grievances, and she'll be dealing with she put it so nicely in her little town hall yesterday. He'll be going through his grievances, and she'll be going through her demands or what are things that she got to get done. I think that we must do that though. We must make sure that those who have gotten her into the position that they're not forgotten about, because all too often it has happened.
That is very true.
Yeah.
That is very true. But again, this election is going to come down to those swing states.
Georgia.
I think Georgia's going to go blue one more time.
Okay.
But it's going to take some.
See, that's where I was just the opposite. I was like, I can't see it only because I was looking in one section of it. But Atlanta is coming through kind of strong.
Atlanta, Augusta, Columbus.
I'll pay attention to Atlanta the most, though.
I need that, my Atlanta family down there to come out strong. And I have a special place in my heart for Georgia. I did go down and work on the Warnock campaign.
And he's out.
So again, I know what they can do down there. I've seen them on the ground. They've been working hard.
Why couldn't they get Wichita elected?
There's a lot of Democrats that like Kemp. And I think Kemp being so vocal against Trump will also help Kamala win this election down there.
Yeah, well, even though he's against him, he's still going to vote for him.
No, I thought he said he may not vote for president.
I thought maybe I misunderstood it. Maybe while I'm talking, maybe we'll check that real quick. Fact check that quick. I think that he said that he's going to. He said because he doesn't support Kamala at all. But and he appeared on stage with him one time too, I believe. So I'm not too sure.
Really? I may have missed that.
Yeah. Now, anything saying?
I'm looking it up now.
Anything saying anything about him? Who? Now I don't think he endorsed him. But I think he supported, because when they asked the question, I think it was CNN who said he will not vote for Kamala, and then he said that he would. I can't remember, but I thought I heard that. But regardless, he does have a lot of people who do like him and support him, and he understands his base too.
Oh, you're right.
I know.
Kemp did endorse him in August.
See?
Yeah. That's my fault.
See, I'm not as smart as him in the politics. I just pay attention and read a whole list. I be reading and watching.
I missed that.
Attention. And I can't wait to hear you say that when the election is over. Like, I don't know how that happened all of a sudden. But yeah, he endorsed him. So that's why you have to be. I wasn't sure if he endorsed him, but I remember him saying he's going to vote for him. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to. Is there a difference between saying I'm going to vote for somebody and I've endorsed them?
It is a difference.
So I wasn't sure, but yes, okay. So but regardless of it, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. But you do feel confident in your assessment, whether it takes 2 weeks, that Kamala will probably win this election?
Yes, yeah, I do. And again, I think it will be close. I think she'll get anywhere from 285 to 300 electoral votes. I would love to see her at like the 319, 330.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's a pathway to that. But I do know she's in Texas this week.
Yeah.
Because Texas is in play. Again, I don't think it's enough time to flip Texas. But you're seeing record numbers. You're seeing record numbers in Georgia, in Texas, in North Carolina, in Democratic strongholds, right? Numbers they haven't seen since the Obama years in North Carolina. So again, those states are going to be key and critical. But I will say this. If she flips Texas, it's done.
Yeah.
Because she has California. She has, where's Barack from? Illinois.
Illinois. I mean, Illinois is the state.
She has New York, right?
Yeah.
You flip Texas, it's a done deal. Yeah. You know, they can have Florida.
But this is what the sport, they trying to make that happen. Now, I'm on your side. That it's a little too late. It's a little too late.
Maybe next election, there is a growing doubt.
What did Biden win? What did Biden lose that by?
By less than 5 points.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, Coby. That could happen. I'm not sold that it will happen, but if Biden only lost it by a couple points and Trump done got worse, his rhetoric is horrible. Texans are now there's some racist folk down there, but for the most part, you got a lot of good people down there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle.
Let's talk about Trump for just a second. We got a couple more minutes left on the show. Do you think that it's his strategy to be the way he is, or he just getting old?
Trump has been like this his entire life. And there's a documentary about how he was able to acquire the Grand Hyatt in New York. And, everyone thought that was going to be a failure, but everyone trusted him because he used words like grandest, biggest, the most popular in the world, but really didn't have the money or the plans to do it, was very cheap. It was a female project manager on the project, but Trump came in and changed some of the designs, and it was very low class cabinets and floors in there. And she was like, no, you can't do that and want all this money, and made him put more money out. But he's always been the person, this is the bestest and largest rally, because most people in their minds, when they hear things like that, they're going to believe it the first time. That's what they're going to remember. And that's how he's been able to build his persona as a great business person, right? Because he said he was a great business person. He's told the bank he was going to make them money while he's draining them dry, right? So again, this is the type of person he has always been. I think what people still don't understand is he's been saying the same taglines for the last 50 years, hasn't really had anything to show for it. He's not a billionaire. He's not that rich. Yeah. All his money is a illusion. Yeah. And he used that to become president of the United States.
And when you catch him in lies, he act like, that ain't true. Hey, keep rolling. Most of us be like, stumbling and everything else. That ain't true. They lying. Fake news. Fake. And people just believe everything he says. That's really interesting. And it's a shame that he has really built such a strong cult that caused so many people to lose so much of their lives. Rudy Giuliani was one of the greatest admired mayors in this world, not just in our country. Now he's lessened to a ring because that's all he's going to be able to keep, because he's going to give everything else up. It's really a sad day in the neighborhood. And I hope and trust that America does not make that. I hope my predictions are correct, if not yours, and we leave it there. But if this man becomes president of the United States again, it's going to be a sad day for America. But it is what it is, and we know how to rebound because we've rebounded before. Coby, is there anything else on your table that maybe we need to talk about today?
That's all I have to talk about today. Early voting has started. It started on Friday. So you can go early vote. Some of the locations in the area, I always encourage people to go to the best voting location, which is the Powell Wilmington. But again, there's multiple locations, including down at the riverfront by the ShopRite. There's a voting location down there. The Apple State Service Center is another place you can go vote. The Hudson Center out in Newark, and Claymont Community Center.
Good. All right. Well, please make sure you go out and vote, vote, vote. Don't be like Trump and say that the early voting is not counting your vote. It is counting your vote. So please go out and vote. And if you can't vote between now and the following Tuesday, then I think it's the next Tuesday.
Up until Monday.
Yeah, you vote, but
yeah.
The election is. I ask that you please vote and call all your friends, your neighbors, your family members who are in different states, especially the ones that are part of the swing states, and share with them they must vote. We must vote because we must make sure we count. Coby, that's all I have for today, and I hope you enjoyed the show. It's good to have you back.
Yes,
if there's nothing else, then I just want to say see y'all.
Take care, y'all.
You've been watching The Source with host Dr. C.T. Curry and co-host Coby Owens. Tune in every Sunday at 5 p.m. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest episodes.